Good night, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. My name is Kyle Joseph. On my this screen, sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. Well, let's see, no Nika. We're gonna take glasses, Nick.
I
Oh,
think
you're
I just
speeding
took them
it.
off.
Oh, okay,
That's right.
okay, okay. Oh,
Good
okay.
night,
I
everyone.
see. I see a move. I see you're in foreign right now. It's hot
Japan,
sun
yes. I
outside by
took a
you.
vacation. Yes, the COVID
Uh-huh.
has been rough. This whole past year and a half has been rough. So I decided to go to Italy. So right now it's about 6 a.m. But
Okay,
I,
okay.
because of technology, I could join you all anywhere in the world. So
Interesting.
yeah, pleasure to be here.
Somebody who on it having a little feedback. So I don't know who is the person. I hear the show running while somebody talking. So I don't know if it's hey, and then we have a little special guest here, Nalini. Nalini there. I don't know if you can wave to us. I don't know if you're there. Yeah, you can
Hi,
hear.
Nalini.
We not hearing you talking. I don't know if you like turn off your mic or something.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
hi, hi,
Nalini. Good
hi.
night.
Hi. Good night, everybody.
Hey, awesome. And then you all know Mark and Eva. The Neds. I get it correct this time.
Wow. Hey, good night, good night, Onika. Good night, Nalini. Good night, everybody who's viewing right now. I want to say welcome.
Thank you, Mark, for that warm
Thank you,
welcome.
Mark.
Thank you.
You go ahead, Eva.
I don't know why that's so funny. Good night. So good night, YouTube. Guys, welcome back to the Real Talk Show. We are here and we are live. We're ready to engage with all of you. This is a serious topic, especially in Trinidad. I think a lot of parents, a lot of students will be very interested in what we have to say tonight. A lot of people will have their own opinions, their input, stuff like that. So we encourage all of you to share your opinion, your thoughts, your concerns. Maybe you might have questions, whatever the case is. We encourage all of you to share and comment. Okay, remember we now going live. So all of you can, I encourage all of you to share, especially people who you know probably in school or parents, stuff like that. Just remember to share, okay? Because we now getting stuff started. I'm gonna read quickly what we have posted on our page. But before I get into that, I just want to remind all of you, for anybody who may be viewing for the first time, or if you forget, every 20 minutes or so, we do giveaways, right? I have to say also because with Kyle, we tend to go beyond. Okay?
Oh, okay,
We,
okay.
we have giveaways, right? So all you have to do is comment to win an Amazon voucher. So guys, this is like the best Saturday evening and to say you get entertainment, you're winning something, you're getting to voice your concerns, your opinion, some great human interaction. I know some people lack in that because a lot of people locked inside or they choose to stay inside, that type of thing. So guys, you have made anybody who tuned in, you made a good choice to spend your Saturday evening with us, okay? Okay, so now I'm gonna read from our post. So it says on Monday, the 25th of October, the government made a decision that both the vaccinated and unvaccinated children in forms 4, 5, and 6 can now attend classes at school. Mere weeks before this decision was made, we were told that only vaccinated students would be able to attend classes. Based on this mandate, many parents made the decision to have their children vaccinated. We want to hear what your thoughts are about our school children and their education during this pandemic. Do you agree with the government's recent decision, or are you in support of the separation of the vaccinated and unvaccinated students? So, guys, that's what we're talking about tonight. We want to hear what your thoughts. We want to hear how you feel, especially for all of the parents. We really want to get your views tonight. Maybe you have your questions, like I said earlier on. So we welcome all of you to join us. Comment. Remember, if you comment, you can win a giveaway, all right? So we're gonna go to Kyle. Kyle's gonna take it away, our lovely host, and let's get the show started.
Hey, we're seeing people. Now I encourage you guys to share this stream because you all know somebody who have a child or vice versa that somebody might want to share your opinion, and actually we want to hear people input because obviously with this whole vaccine and everything going on in the world, everybody have a different opinion, and we're not here to
Yeah.
fight down nobody, but we're here to really actually hear people valid points, and because maybe obviously somebody might on one side might have a view that maybe is is something serious, and then the other side might have a view that they hold as something serious, especially mothers and fathers, because today we're dealing with the kids going back out of school. So some parents might have a view where they say, yeah, let them go back out, and then some parents might have a view where they say, nah, this is why I do find they should go back out and stuff like that, right? Now we all
Yeah.
know that before you could have tune in online, but now they're saying they open it back up to unvaccinated and vaccinated children to go out into schools and different things like that, right? So, Nika, where's your thought on that? Because you're a mother and you have a lovely young lady. Her name is Kristen. Anyways, you seen Christy, big up to your whole self. But you go ahead, Nick. What's your thoughts on,
I think she listening, huh? She liming about her life, yes.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So yeah, so my daughter is not really a fan of school. Anybody who knows her would know that. So not going to school was no big deal for her. And for me either, I'll be honest. I was cool with it, her being online. But she's in Form 5 now. When this whole thing started, she was in the middle of Form 4. She's in Form 5 now.
It's true,
And
because that was last year.
yeah, she was yeah.
Hmm.
She had just gone into Form 4 actually. And
Okay.
so things coming down to a close, and she has a lot of SBAs to do and different assignments and things to do that she would, I believe, it would be easier for her to do in class, in person, because she works a lot
Hmm.
with groups that she's doing SBAs and that kind of thing. And so they have to do it via Zoom. And that could be a little challenging to get everybody to focus at the same time. Whereas if they were in class, it would have been easier. So she actually did voice to me when she started getting all these different assignments and stuff that, she's like, Mommy, I actually think I need to go to school in order to be able to benefit the most, from what's happening in Form 5.
Chrissy is a unique child. I sure Mark and myself would have been happy to stay home, and Mark.
I think I would have, but it depends. I don't know how I would have been feeling homesick. But I didn't know
Homesick.
you so fine, quite Form 5 reach. Wow.
Yeah, because you live in
Yeah.
school next year. Next year, I said. But
Yes, so I
so
grew
so
up there.
she
You good? Hmm.
yeah, I mean she didn't want to go at first, but then she realized that there are benefits, right, to her being in
Yeah.
class in person. Um And so when they made the announcement Thursday, I think it was, or Wednesday, I'm not sure, that both vaccinated. Well, my decision was not to vaccinate. I should say that first, right? Um, and my reason for not vaccinating my daughter is because first of all, if she does get COVID, the risk of any serious illness or hospitalization or death is like what too it's too rare or too insignificant for me to consider vaccinating her with a drug that we all know, if we be honest, hasn't really been tested, over the normal period of time that they would
Yeah.
normally test vaccine. So her risk was very low. So I honestly um I honestly think the unknowns that surround the vaccine and the possible risk of the vaccine for a girl her age, we don't know all of the risk in the future yet. But I honestly think when I look at COVID and I look at the vaccine, where she's concerned, she's 16, I saw the greater risk being her being vaccinated, right? That's my
Yeah.
opinion. So I have no intentions of letting her get vaccinated. So she was not able to attend school, and she was bummy. She was a little bummy
Okay.
about it. Um, she was like, boy, but then after a while, she adjusted. And so when this news came now, this last week, or this week, when it was this week, yeah, Thursday, she was like, okay, right, I go to school. But apparently her school has a different view. I mean, the school that she attends don't want the unvaccinated children to come back out, and they want things to remain as they are. I don't know if that is legal. I don't know if they could go against the government, but they actually said
They are private
um,
school.
it's a private school. They actually said
Oh, okay.
no, call your tail home. We will continue how we going. So that had her a little bummy. So she, you know, So it's literally kind of playing with her. It's 1 minute is yes, 1 minute is no, 1 minute yes, you know what I mean? So she, I feel like she just being tossed to and fro mentally. Okay, yes, I'll go in or not. You know what I mean? So as it stands right now, if she does have the opportunity to go, I will let her go. Of course, she wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
See that there's any risk, and but as it is now, her school is basically saying no. But yeah,
Okay.
so it's been a back and forth. But here the thing that Kyle, as I said, Kristen did not get vaccinated, and I have no intentions of vaccinating her. But I know quite a few parents who they were not sure, very uncertain about vaccinating their kids, and the only reason they actually did it, got their kids vaccinated, was so that they can attend school. And so now they're like, what the heck? I go on and I give my child the vaccine. I really didn't want to do it, and now all man jack in school. You understand? So the only
Yeah.
reason that they in first place has now been taken away. So it was like they felt like their hand was being forced because they want their
Mm-hmm.
children to go to school. And
Yeah.
now, you know, so
Yeah.
I mean
W-
I
Well,
think that's real
yeah. Well, we
balmy.
have a passionate, other passionate mother here with us, Nalini, and maybe Nalini, you could share with us what changed.
Well, I would agree with Anika, right, that
Mm-hmm.
we weren't prepared to vaccinate our children because we know that certain protocols were not followed. We didn't have extensive, research on it and what would be the outcome. But what happened is that they wanted to bring out the Form 4 to 6 out to school, and they said only vaccinated were able to come out. And they started that procedure, and then they said that the other children will have online. But with speaking with other parents, some of the online weren't going well. And then about, I'm not sure how long after, they said, okay, all Form 1 to 3 are going to come out to school vaccinated only. And I think this caused an uproar with parents and schools and teachers and the Trinidad and Tobago Teachers Association that had to take a stand against this. So as we know now, they had some changes to that, and they say both vax and unvaccinated forms 4 to 6 shall have to attend all schools. So this is what changed. It's sad to say though that in our Trinidad law, and I don't know if everybody knows this, that every child, whether they're special or not special, there is a legal right for a child to be educated. Besides just the Form 4 to 6, all special needs schools will also be open for both vax and unvaccinated children on Monday. So we have a lot of different things flying all over the air. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, we have many different types of stories with our children. We could go into 100 different things, but we want to know, is this the best thing for our children coming out to school? I mean, I know that is Form 4 to 6. There are some classes, and what tutor had originally wanted was that everything remained online, but those had practical classes or SPAs or special things for the exam that they alone should come out until we know where we stand with this COVID. So presently, for me, I do not believe in sending my children getting vaccinated and sending my son out unless we know what is the best handle on this COVID and this vaccination, and that the Ministry of Education is also seeking the interest of the child and not just
Mm-hmm.
any agenda, because I
Yeah.
mean, to lose a child, if it's your only child, especially, and to lose a child, and no government, nobody could replace that, you know. So that's
Right.
basically my views up to this point.
So
Yeah.
Nalini,
So
you are saying that it's really tutor that sort of forced their hand to make this new decision. That is why the
The,
decision was made.
I believe very well because the last statement you just says is either all online or all physical. And I believe that they met and they came to the realization Form 4 to 6 would come up both vax and unvax, because I mean that decision was made so quickly, Anika. I
Yes.
mean, It
Yeah.
had to have a driving point. And this is the thing, tutor is a union, you understand, united. And whether or not they had stood, I believe a lot of parents, because they have this old saying, you can do me what you want, but don't touch my children. They
Right.
understand. And I think a lot of parents would have rise up against this. I could teach my son SCA, but I can't teach my son French because I don't know French. So it was going to be that education now was going to be a struggle in Trinidad because
Going to be
for
really
parents
compromised.
especially, yeah, who don't want to, and you're correct. We don't have enough research for this vaccine to put it into our children. My son has special needs. What effects is that vaccine going to have on my son who gets seizures, who cannot tell me if he could breathe or not breathe? So how am I going to deal with a child? I mean, this is really so many different scenarios with this for
Yeah.
parents, for students, and for teachers. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was
Teachers as well.
yeah, the teachers are, I mean, David's teacher for SEA was under tremendous strain doing online because she had to split the class in three, and it was Monday to Sunday to push these
Wow.
children. So you can imagine what some of these teachers, I'm teaching online, I'm teaching physical, I have to be here, I have to be there. So I agree with Tutor in a lot of the decision what they put out there, and I know a lot of parents are still scared to send out their children because what about all these students that have to travel who are not vaccinated and have to go to public transport? And when you go to high school, obviously we know we're not carrying lunch, we have food. So there's so many different complications just coming with this that a parent is fearful of. Because I'm going in a taxi, I'm sending my child in a taxi where I don't know where these people, if they work in a hospital, if they work wherever they work, that they could have this virus. So this is some decisions that are being made without the user being really involved in the decision making. And
Right.
that's my
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
What Monica, what would you say some of the reasons? Maybe a parent, maybe online you all could say too, right? A parent would want their child to go back out to school.
What reasons?
Yeah.
To be able to socialize. Some children, my daughter is the only child. She doesn't really have much friends in school, right? But I can well imagine most of her friends are outside of school. I can well imagine. What is the problem, Kyle? There's a problem.
I just
There's a problem.
gritted and I just nodded my
Okay.
head and going along with the story, Sishin.
Okay. All right.
Nilini, you could turn on your volume a little bit. I don't know if it will affect
Okay.
your mic, but we hear enough feedback from
Mute
I
her
think
mic while she's not
yeah.
talking.
When
Muting
you're
it.
not talking, it have a button, you can just mute your mic. Nice. So you can still hear
Nice.
us. Yeah, you
Okay.
good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To be able to socialize with other children. Some kids have it
Mm-hmm.
rough home. You're right. There's no entertainment. There's nowhere. Well, we have more freedom now, but a couple months ago, Kyle, there's nowhere that you could go. You couldn't even go out in a park. You couldn't go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so for some kids, the only time they get to socialize and see friends or anybody would be in school. The other reason is I know for my daughter again, her she doesn't concentrate and pay attention as well home online. I'm trying to get her to be more diligent, to be more studious at home, to be more organized, to be more responsible. But she does much better in school. She would wake up and, not that selling her out, she would wake up and sometimes I would go in the morning to see, make sure she online. And my girl lying down on the bed with the laptop sideways, so covered up to her neck. And I'm like, sis, this is not how we do in school. We know we online, but this is not how we do in school. Right? And
I
she would
like
go,
it.
Make
huh?
the camera isn't on.
Say again?
Her camera would not be
No,
on.
no, no. And if
Oh,
the teacher, and what she does in those situations, if the teacher does ask, because it's supposed to be on and they're supposed to be in uniform since they started back, if the teacher asks, try to turn on her camera, she'll make up an excuse, right? I hope no
Yeah.
teacher is watching the stream. But so
Where she
it's
learned
better
that
for her.
from?
Yes. Say again?
Where she got that from? Because I mean, both her parents
No, no, no.
standing
Her
to.
father, no, her father she got it from her father. Trust me, you heard his story, right? Anyway, but she would, I know for sure she would do better. Not that, not that she's not doing well home. I mean, academically, she's doing exams, passing or whatever. But in terms of concentration and, you know, I think she need that sort of one-on-one interaction with the teachers and students as well. So I think it's better for some kids that would be beneficial too. And also, there's some children, Kyle, they ask me why they should go out to school. Their situation
Mm-hmm.
at home is not the best. Their environment at home is not the best. For some children, their only outlet, their only time where they'd be free from, let's say, some kind of abusive alcoholic father or some, would be when they go to school. That's when they feel some level of freedom and they're away from home because home is a toxic environment and they feel happier at school. So there are many
Yeah.
reasons why, many reasons why
Or
Would you say
school.
also too another a reason could be that some of them they their parents have jobs and some children had to be
Yes,
home. You know what I mean?
and the
And
parents don't have anybody to watch them. That was a real challenge for some parents as well. Who are
yeah,
gonna have some of them had to go out to work. Some of them were home because of COVID, so it worked out okay. But not all of them. Some of them had to go out to work, and who supervising these children? If you have a
mhm,
2 year, a 3 year, no, if you have a 5 year old, a 7 year old, and who gonna sit down with the 5 year old and 7 year old and make sure they pay attention? Because to get them to sit still on a Zoom call for how much hours is not an easy thing. They wouldn't do it on their own. They need
it's
somebody
true.
there to help them to focus. So there are a lot of challenges with the kids being home. Plenty,
How
plenty
about
challenges.
financially?
That might work out
The,
better once you have a tablet
to
and
go to
you're
school,
good.
eh?
To
No, well,
stay
some
home.
a lot of children. I don't know if well, maybe not you, right? But a lot of children depend on box lunch. Families they help
Yes, some of
financially
them,
for
yeah,
to budget them the whole every day
yeah.
to get free food every day. So and all that change. I mean, that whole system change will come actually a financial burden on because that's the reason why it came out right to help financially with people who maybe have less money and different things like that that they could afford different things, right? But then box lunch help out. I show Mark you eat a little box lunch in school.
yeah, I eat it from time to time. But what I was wondering as well is how the government had graciously closed down sectors, how they were gonna pay for the electricity bill and keep the internet running for the month for those kids. And also people who didn't have the devices would now have to go and buy those devices. So
Buy
I think that was
devices.
a cost to
Yeah.
families. But
Yeah,
Hmm.
I know somebody with 7 kids, Mark. 7 kids, all school age, right? Seven
Yeah.
kids. Think about it. They can't share devices. Not all of them was in the same school. Some of them doing that. You understand?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not easy for some people. It's really, really, it was a trying time for
You
but
parents.
know
A
when
lot of
actually did go to school for a period for the COVID period with the online school. There are a lot of I believe the ministry and the government would have talk about this that they actually have to try and reach out to these children and see what is the situation. A lot of them weren't able to participate.
to
yes, a lot of
participate and
children will not be able to participate because they don't have
dropped
no
out of the
laptop,
system.
they have no
No school.
internet, they have nothing.
Correct. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're gonna go to the comment section, but when we come back, Nalini has actually a special, child, and obviously she have other views on different things that we're interested in to hear about with different situations. So we want to go to Ava, and there are a lot of people commenting online because obviously there are people who have children who have different views. And remember, let nobody take away your personal opinion on your view, right? If you have our opinion, we want to hear it. We want to hear because that is what we're discussing here today, and we're not trying to censor nobody. If it is you for it fully, you say your part, and we want to hear it, and vice versa. If you're against it, you share it. So, Ava, you take it away.
Alright, so I'm gonna start by saying good night to a few you lovely people.
You got
So
to talk a
first
little
off,
louder.
okay, alright, cool. Thanks. Let me say good night to Ayuka, Crystal, Martin, Marcia, Justina, Ray, good night to you, Anya, Susan, good night to you, Demi, good night to you as well, Susan, Singh,
Just saying good night as well.
Adele Allen, good night to you. Deborah Taylor says, blessed night, Pastor Onika, and everyone blessing. Risa Ma, good night to you. Risa says, But you're on time, Rita. Rita says we all look very refreshed. We did. We did. That's right.
Hey,
Okay, so
hey.
Demi, I'm starting with Demi's comments, alright, guys? So Demi says, I am so sorry for the parents who forcefully vaccinated their children for the sake of their children's education. My both nieces had to take the vaccine and both had very different reactions. One was almost hospitalized while the other was normal. I am in agreement with both vaccinated and unvaccinated having the right to an education. Some children cannot handle the vaccine. It can seriously harm or even kill a child. Their bodies are not like ours. Saying goodnight to Wesleyan. Susan saying
Somebody, I don't know what to, all right, go ahead. Good, Eva.
Susan, wait a minute, Susan, sorry, says, my son is just 6 years old. If they only say children under 12 have to be vaccinated, that will be a no-no for me. I'll homeschool my son. Justina says, I prefer the kids stay safe at home. It's too risky. Um, Ayoka says children should not be jabbed as this is a rushed vaccine. Their immune systems are very strong and too many stories of bad reactions as well. Kenyan Will says there is practically no risk for children, hence we should have rally with others that said no to vaccination in children. There is no COVID-19 emergency in children. Justina says yes, they forced the government's hand. I think this is something talking about Twitter.
Yeah.
Kenyan will added there are schools in other countries that are allowing all children to go to school. There is no longer certain data for children regarding the vaccine. Saying goodnight to Marissa, Wesleyan says, is money involved for these high people? So that's why the job is so important, but God will give justice. Anya says, I know a lot of parents who prefer their children being at home. Wesleyan says, socializing and to keep my sanity. This is probably one of the reasons why you would want to actually go back to school.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Adele Danielle, she says, you know the irony with this is, if there wasn't a vaccine available for children, John Public would have been in an uproar. My kids will all take the vaccine because it gives them a greater chance of survival if they are to contract the virus. Let me see. Katie says, Father, get you under the bus here. Justina Batiste, some schools ask the kids to put on the cameras to make sure they are involved.
Yeah.
Chris, we need to do that a little more. Yeah, well, I'm okay with vaccinated and unvaccinated attending school together. There is no emergency in children. Also, these death figures uploaded are mainly due to WHO requirements for reports COVID-19 deaths. Once, once an individual tests positive for COVID-19 at death or within 28 days, if memory serves me right, then that person is considered a COVID-19 death, whether COVID-19 killed them or not. This is also, I believe, confirmed by the words of our CMO. That's crazy. So people, so they say that you die from COVID, whether you die or not from COVID. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Uh,
Somebody actually told me that today. That
I,
a family member, yeah,
I think I heard
passed.
that
That
as well.
certificate was false. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Ayoka says some children feel safer at home while some feel safer at school. Susan says that's true. With the 5-year-old to sit and focus, I sit right next to my son. I got accustomed to it. That's my new normal. Lisa Marie Olson, good, good night to you, Lisa. Lisa, say good morning. I don't know if Lisa in another country.
Morning.
West
That Mark sister.
She's in the same country with me.
It's true.
Well, good morning, Lisa. Wesley and Bowen. This is nonsense. I have 4 children aged 14, 9, 5, and 1. And none of them will be taking any job. Lisa says, OMG, you guys look cute. I'm not sure what you're saying, but thank you, Lisa.
She talk about me, but go ahead.
Um, um,
And we could not have any children during these trying times. It's true, Anya, I was you on that one. Because to be a parent in these times and have choices for your children is really hard. Lisa says lovely tan. What a lovely tan.
From me,
I don't think she's not from Trinidad. That's what we were going on.
one with a tan.
So, Lisa, you're in the same country with me, girl. They're telling me I'm in some other country because I experience in daylight. So, yeah.
Are you guys sorry about my audio? I think it's because I'm using a different device. Let me know if it clears up, guys. Let me see. I'm gonna read these last two comments and then I'm gonna do the giveaway, okay? Lisa also says waking up to beautiful people in the Caribbean. So Lisa is in the Caribbean. Who am I in the same country with? This is Anika saying this. I
Lisa,
can't
where
see.
you from?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lisa, where you from?
What part of Trinidad you from?
Oh, Lisa, in the same country. So she's in Trinidad. Anyway, I confused. So for our first giveaway, market favorite giveaway, I want to give it somebody else.
She's from Denmark.
Copenhagen, Denmark. See, I told you we in the same place.
Okay, so my first giveaway tonight will definitely have. Oh no, actually, give one thing because it's Amazon vouchers. Okay, anyway, for my first giveaway tonight, Susan, saying congratulations to you, Susan. I am not sure if I ever really saw your name here before. Forgive me if you have been here, but thanks for all your comments, Susan, and everyone else. Guys, continue to comment, all right? Like we said earlier on, whether you want to state your opinion or you want to ask a question or whatever the case is, feel free to share. Or maybe you just want to comment on something that we actually discussed in. That's definitely welcome as well. And once you comment, you could win one of our giveaways. All right. So again, congratulations to Susan Singh. You are our first winner tonight. Big up to you, Susan. And guys, continue to comment. All right. Kyle, we going back to you now.
Hey, awesome stuff, Eva. See you again, big up right through online. Unika, you have fans with you? Some you brought somebody saw that background and they say, hey,
Yeah.
you from Europe as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
I don't
Hello,
understand.
welcome, Denmark.
Yes, I am in Denmark, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's Mark, and you from Denmark. But yes,
Yeah.
we were. So, Nalini is here with us, and I know we talk about like normal students, right? Now, Nalini has a special needs child, and maybe you could give us a story and your perspective on this situation, like why you, because obviously now your children be going, your child is maybe had to go back out to school or something like that. So maybe you tell us a little story about what is going on.
Okay, so they open back all special needs school. My son is attends to the school for the children, for the blind children, right? Um, but it's a small school. It has very little amount of students there. So they said the reason that they open these special schools is because these schools don't have much children, so you don't have a lot of, you social distancing already, right? But you think about it is that every special needs child is different. So, for
Hmm.
example, if you are a child that cannot see, you tend to use your other senses, and one of your senses is to touch and to hold. And in order for you to go anywhere, you will have to touch a lot of things like your desk all over, right? For my
Hmm.
son, he is visually impaired as well as cerebral palsy. So what he does is that he drools a lot. So when I have to put on a mask for him and he is drooling, where is this drool going to accumulate? In the mask. So it's very unsanitary for my son to wear a mask. But my
Right.
thing is, okay, did we consider the different options these children have? They have some children now, they have no transport to reach to the school. They depend on the transport. When they're in the transport, what transport are they using? Is this transport only for children? Or when they finish bringing the children, are they going to use the transport publicly because the government hires transport, right? So then they are being open still to the atmosphere of the virus, let's say, that is out there, right? But the thing about it is with special needs now, you you didn't consider, did they really sit down and consider all the options available for these children? And the mandate is that if you do not come to school physically, I'm no longer going to get online. classes. So I'm faced now, if I do not send Joseph,
Wow.
his teacher is not going to teach him online. And he loves his teacher. Believe me, Joseph loves socializing, as you all know. He loves being in
Hmm.
his classroom. He loves with other children. But what are the other outcome now? Most of these special needs children, now I'm not sure for Joseph, but a special needs child will have other complications, and their immune system may not work like a normal child. You understand?
Right.
Because if Joseph gets sick, slightest fever he gets will give him a seizure, and all these could end in detrimental results. So when they're making decisions, right, is my thing is that are they considering everything on that? Why make decisions so hurry, so rush?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring out the Form 1 to 3 one time, and the Form 4 to 6 didn't even work out properly yet. So, they talk about stakeholders, but the parents here are stakeholders. The teachers are stakeholders because now, imagine my son teacher saying, okay, I cannot no longer teach Joe if he's not here. That's going to break her heart because they both have a bond. She's helping a child who cannot get an education otherwise. And now, so, you're causing so many different conflicts. And what is the agenda behind this? So I'm not the only parent that will have fear, even for a special child, but other children, so that is my view for my sons. Yes, we want them back in school. We want everything go back to normal. But how are we going back to normal with our children? Are we taking the right steps? Are we taking one day at a time? Or are we just rushing things because we need to follow some system or something? But I'm not risking my child to follow anything, any system. I'm not going to lose my children. So that is
Well,
my view on
so
this.
on both situations, really, obviously, well, I don't know if it is Joseph vaccinated. Is he vaccinated?
No, he's not vaccinated, neither is David. And I have consulted with a doctor personally,
Hmm.
my personal doctor concerning vaccination. And in my own view, I do not believe there's something called protocols that we need to follow, right? And in any system, if you're in the police, you're in the fire, you're in the army, you're in the ministry, you go to the White House, you go to the Red House, you go to the hospital, you have certain protocols as medical doctors to follow, right? And I
Yeah.
believe honestly that even if you are releasing a vaccine that is supposed to be, you have protocols to follow. And I think this is one of the reasons why the vaccine is not yet mandatory, because the protocols to make this vaccine safe has not yet been followed because you have a certain amount of years to follow. And in Joseph's situation, I know certain protocols won't follow, and hence I am faced with the situation to bring up a special need child because protocols are set and won't follow. Who's going to take responsibility when something happens to your child or you yourself take the vaccine? All we are asking, we are not against the vaccine, we are not with the vaccine, but we just want that it is, we want to feel safe that we are putting something good in our body. We just want
Right.
proper protocols and answers followed. So why jeopardize my son if I'm not even going to take the vaccine myself? So I did
So
seek
the reason why
medical.
I asked that is all right. So he doesn't have the vaccine, and then obviously you don't want him to get the virus because there's complications that could come with it. So are you sending him back out to school?
This is my special needs son, right? Which is
Yeah, it's
Joseph.
Joma Joseph, yeah, because
Yeah. No.
obviously I don't mean to think, right? Like with maybe my next son, David, the situation a little different for him. But with
Yes.
obviously with Joseph, it's just strange that they did not have any online schooling for special needs because, like you rightfully say, they're children with autism and all kind of different things that have issues and maybe if they do get the virus, whether they're vaccinated or not, it could affect them in many different ways, right? So
Yes.
why it is it that you're reaching out to the school? Is it like you as a mother, you reaching out to the school to ask them for online, or are you looking for other solution?
Now, the thing about it is we will look to the teachers, we will look to the school, but the school answers to the Ministry of Education and whatever protocols they send. So I
Right.
have written to the school and to the vice, the acting principal for Joseph School, and I believe that she will also get letters and other emails from other parents And I guess that will be put together and sent to the Ministry of Education for now. For now, we're not sure for next Monday if they're going to be taught online still when the school physically open. But I know that mandate was given. If you are not physically there, there's no online teaching. So I'm not sure what's
Wow.
going to go on next week. So
That is just sad to hear that that is the situation that even if it is like imagine he can't take the vaccine. If he gets sick on top of that, it could cause more chaos. And obviously, that's not a situation where being as a mother. So you forced now to maybe make a decision where you're casting your child to school in that kind of way, right? So where's your thoughts on now, Nika? Or I don't know if you want to ask that specific question. I know
Well,
come back and
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't understand. I'm being honest. Lily, are you saying, Lainey, that they are mandating that even special needs children wear masks at
in
school?
order to yes, in order to attend the school, the protocol is that you have to wear a mask.
That makes no sense. Special needs children, they have all various types of issues. How
Because
would you tell
normal
them to wear a
normal
mask? What
children
is
will
it?
be fidgeting and different things with
Yes,
this mask on
yeah,
their face. Imagine,
yeah,
like especially like your son, he would be pulling off that mask right through.
yeah. I mean, and then what she explained with the drool as well.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me. And one of the videos we're gonna look at later, the doctors. Well, first of all, in Europe, no child has to wear a mask. It's not mandatory for any child in any school at any age to
Amen.
wear a mask in Europe.
Wow.
No school, and their cases much better than what's happening in the US, right? Um, so far less to have a special needs child wear a mask and a 5-year-old and a 6 year. That's to me that's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
but I would not if I were in
Nilini, you
Nalini's
had to mute
shoes.
your mic. On yeah, because
Yes,
they get any feedback. Are you good?
if I
Mm-hmm.
was in Nalini's shoes, I would not send Joseph back out to school.
Yeah, sure, right? I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, the risk it's a greater risk sending him as he special needs than if you keep him at home. So I would keep him at home, but then it's so unfair. You're being put between a rock and a hard place because they're saying they're not offering any online classes for him, which is crazy.
The government
Why?
didn't
Why?
think about it. They didn't think about that. They didn't think
Yeah.
about the
Why would
decision.
you
They
do
had it.
that?
All the parents who have special needs children, they need to rise up against that and
Yeah.
revoke that because it had to be in
Yes.
a
Yeah.
situation where they obviously had a. I mean, obviously that's not the majority of schools, right? But those schools particularly, if all of them reach out and say, "Watch me, this is making no sense," even if they say the blind children alone do certain things, you can't. But not everybody. That really not making no sense, especially because imagine he, like I say, a slight fever, he getting seizures. And it's sad if something does happen and he in school and all these madness, who are not really, what I mean? It's just, I didn't even want to get into that whole mindset of what, if something could happen in that kind of way, because I think they get him mad and vexed, what I mean? And I think they turn into Hulk. But, Unika, your mic on? It sound like a mute. You there?
Yes. 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 I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, is there any other question you want to ask Nilini before we go to the videos and different things?
Um, um, so you said that in terms of your Joseph again, right? Who is special, who has special needs. Um, what is the government, or was there anything put in place for them, or will he be exempt from being vaccinated? You know what I mean? Or is it that he has to be back? Well, he's under 12, so children under 12, it's not mandatory for them to go to school yet to be vaccinated, right? Is that correct, Nalini?
Actually, because special needs schools have a little bit of children, they have that all the schools, whether they are under 12 or not, would be coming out. So they have no there's not from just form ones to six. There is from primary school go up.
No,
They
but
are
I
being
mean in terms
requested to
of
come out.
being vaccinated. they children under 6 don't have to be vaccinated to attend school. That's correct, right?
No, no, they're not telling you, they're not that telling you that he has to be vaccinated,
Right.
but
Okay. Okay.
definitely they have other, they have to wear masks, they have to sanitize, etc. And another thing with the sanitization with children is that a lot of children that are special needs usually take their hands and have it all over their face. They put it
Yeah.
on their mouth, they rub it like Joseph. I mean, if he enters the AC, boom, he sneezes.
He
He
sneezes.
sneezes a
Yeah.
lot. So the hand sanitizer also makes them sneeze, and it could also affect their face. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's interesting.
it's a lot to
What
consider.
about
So I don't think the government consider that at all those things with special needs kids.
Mark from here and all that? You have any question? Maybe you want to ask us any that maybe we didn't, So I want to because our people obviously commenting online and we want to hear their input. So
Well, I was just trying to think about the government side of it because obviously, well, they will try to put certain solutions forward, but I think it actually hard if you as the government to find something that might necessarily suit everybody, honestly. But the special needs, I never really thought about it to be honest until today. With the points that the lady raised, I don't know. Like I trying to think of what solution I might have put in place if I was government. The only thing I could think of is if they maybe did have them return to school, but the structure they maybe have to get a bigger facility where they could spread them out that they'll have their own area or something. But I think the concerns that Nalini raised is valid. I think they should consider maybe the online for these
yeah, the
special.
online that's the simple solution. Keep online schooling. You know what I mean? And that is I don't know no brainer with that for that.
And also where the vaccination is concerned, I think yeah, if for a child you may want to not necessarily um, force it on them, especially seeing that the vaccine hasn't. I mean, it's fairly new, even though they were saying that there have been the emergency and that it's supposed to be safe. I think just to be safe for the younger kids. For me, if I were a parent, I would be a little hesitant to give my child the vaccine immediately. So what me and Eva actually are doing, we're waiting a little bit too before we have children, just as a precaution. Like a year or so.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Okay. That time, at the time going down, Ava, I thought it was like 3 years and thing. I see like it going down to a year. Okay.
Yeah, Mark. I don't know anything about it.
Hey,
I just
Mark off his own plans, Mark planning right now for you, girl.
Yeah.
Benny, you wanna go to the comment section, Monica, or you think that's it?
Yeah.
So I know we have
Yeah.
some videos to show in the end.
Yeah.
So guys, we're gonna go to now the medical side of it when we come back, because we have some experts in the field who sharing their input on this in this situation. So we want to go to the comments before we go to there, and we want to hear what you guys saying online because we want to hear your input. Eva, you do your thing, girl.
all
You
right.
tanned lady, you do your thing.
So continuing from where I left off, and I love this comment I'm seeing here. So Lisa is asking, who is from Denmark, and she asked to hear some Danish. So maybe let me
Oh,
go back
snap
to
neck.
that one.
Snap neck. Sniff. Yeah.
Nick, you feel free to communicate with Lisa, right? Kenyan will. Kenyan says CMO Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parasaram says everyone that dies of being COVID positive, this is similar to what we were saying earlier. Everyone that dies of being COVID positive at the same time of death doesn't necessarily die of COVID. They are considered having COVID, and that has been our national policy for stating in terms of deaths that come to us. Once you are positive at the time of death, we count you as a COVID death, whether it is with COVID or of COVID. So the second person I'm saying that already pretty nice. Nandi here would says children's education and that our future should never be brought into political agenda. True. Wesley and Bowen, interesting topic. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Wesley and We're happy to have you here as well. Let me see. Um, Nandi here with to segregate and discriminate children is wrong. True indeed. Let me see. Lisa says, Result love your program. Lisa, we hope to see you again. Every time we go live, we hear every other Saturday. Just throwing that in. Anya said, oh, Anya is sharing. Anya is sharing. Anya, big up. You want to share the stream tonight? Ayuka says,
I hear somebody pitbull, but you good.
I don't have any doors. So somebody needs to make tonight. Ayuka says, may God bless her and give her strength for her son during these times. Let me see.
Lisa asked an interesting question, Eva.
Oh, sorry.
Lisa, she said, why are you also stumbling with this when all other countries? Are you good, yeah?
Why you all are stumbling with all this when all other countries are moving on? Lisa, maybe you could tell us what it's like in Denmark with regards to children and schools and what their system is. Ayoka says, my heart goes out to all parents, especially special needs parents. Demi says, maybe a different agenda. We still don't know why. Susan, my heart goes out to the parents of special needs children and to this lady. God continue to bless you. Um, Anya says that's really hard as a parent of a special needs child. I think this is bringing a lot of awareness for people who may not necessarily have taught exactly the same thing as Mark said. To know what it's like for somebody with a special needs child, what they experience, like what their side of it is. Let me see. Kenyan will, the government is not thinking. They are just acting as puppets being controlled by WHO. Demi says, what I truly don't understand is how they can do the both. What is so hard to record the teacher while teaching physically in class? Just like church services. I just don't understand. It isn't so hard. Um, Lisa Marie Olson, I don't think your government cares. Katie says the rights of the child gone out the window. Who were the people on the board making these decisions? Craziness. Ayoka says Susan thinks, oh right, yes, Susan, you can inbox us your email address and actually you don't need the email address. You can just inbox us and that way you will be able to win the to get access to the prize, all right? And for anybody else who win prizes tonight, just inbox us, all right? And that's how you can get the information on actually getting the prize. Ayoka, no, that was the same comment. Let me see. Indira, good night to you, Indira. Kenyan will, no promotion of healthy living. Alternative treatment, no vitamin D, zinc or other things being promoted. All we hear is vaccine, vaccine, as if vaccine is our savior. That is true. I've never heard anybody come, I mean, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I never actually heard any person in the government or in the Ministry of Health saying anything along those lines to boost immunity. Anya, real sure, Anya, big up to you again. Let's see who we have here. Kenyan Will, little hesitant. I full of hesitant. There is no long-term data for this vaccine. Anya says I'm in no rush for children either. Kenyan will check out Dr. Pierre, Corey, and Dr. Peter McCullough. I think hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Demi says in Denmark they are moving like normal and no vaccination is forced. Demi also added my last two daughters, their older brother is from Copenhagen, Denmark as well. Kenyan will, my personal opinion, COVID-19 is here to stay and we need to learn to all live with it. I like Norway's stance as to how they open everything and leave the choice of vaccinate in the person's hands. Nalini says we have safe zones and posters being put up. All right, so for my second giveaway, I don't think I have a choice but to give it to Anya. Anya Rel Sharon, we appreciate that, Anya. And also to all of the people that Anya is sharing to. If you're viewing here for the first time, remember to comment, okay? We want to hear your view. Maybe you have a question, input, whatever the case is, feel free to comment, all right? I have one more comment here. Let me read this quickly from West End, and we go back to Kyle. They're supposed to exempt the lady's child. This leader is inhumane. Lady, my heart goes out to you and your son. I support you 100%. Keep praying, hon, and keep the faith and stand strong to your belief. So we're saying congratulations to
Ayana Tusa.
yeah, I was trying to get the last name. No, it's Anya actually. Anya
Anya.
Tuesday. Congratulations to you again. You are our second winner. Guys, we still have one more giveaway left, alright? So continue to comment as you could be the winner of that final giveaway. Alright, Kyle, we're gonna go back to you now.
Hey, welcome back, people. Good to see all your face.
Welcome back.
Onika, your hair real blowing, girl. Yeah, good job, yeah. Good job. Good job. Your mic muted. All right. You having fun?
No, Kyle, she's saying that you have her mute, I think. You
Oh,
mute
I
her.
have a meeting? Oh, okay.
See, you see how you're lighting? I'm trying to get you. Oh, you're trying to block me on the show all day. First you refuse to let
And
me, right?
when
Then
you get up and walk off, your pit bull was making noise, so you had to mute you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought I was Mike when I got up. I actually went to feed him, and he was a little upset because I was taking long. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem. So we wanna go to the medical side of this, and we wanna hear some input. No, we have some videos. Maybe you wanna give a background on the first one, Onika.
The first
This is one
one,
with the
I think
booster. With the, mhm.
yeah, it's long. It's a long video, but it's just a little excerpt. This is no, they're not going to be talking about the boosters in the part that that we cut out, right?
Yeah.
It's two doctors. One of them has a YouTube channel, and he has videos out regularly. He's very pro vaccine, but what I like about him is that he still has an open mind, and he's still in a lot of things that the government is doing. He's American, of course. He doesn't see a lot of sense in it. And even when it comes to the vaccination of children and them wearing masks and all that kind of thing, he has different views to what the government would be pushing, right? And
Yeah.
the FDA and stuff. And then the other one is also a doctor. So they're going to be talking about the children being vaccinated and mask as well. I
Okay.
believe, and school, like yeah. So yeah, let the video tell you.
All right, ma'am. So I'll put it on the video here. So let me just.
There are many kids being hospitalized right now in some states. And my counter argument to that is the point I'm making about masking the kids in school is if we really don't know if that helps, and if it turns out that that doesn't help, then you can be spending great deals of political capital getting that to happen, and you will still have the problem of the kids coming in the hospital. And if you really want to
No.
reduce that problem, you got to do things that work, and
Yes,
not
it
things that
is.
merely appear to work, but you don't know.
It's speed
Yes, it
up.
is,
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Huh? Hold on. Nah. So normal.
Okay.
I didn't speed it up.
Okay.
Know for sure they work. And so that's why I'm pushing for cluster randomized trials. The next thing I'd say is, he's not a pediatrician. Well, true, but one can't train in everything. But what is VP's skill set? VP is somebody who studies the evidence and the quality of medical evidence, empirical appraisals of medical evidence. That's what I've been doing for 10 plus years. And that puts me in a very good position to judge the evidence here. And also, many pediatricians agree with me. In fact, probably the majority of pediatricians in Europe agree with me. And that's why the United Kingdom has never masked a child under the age of 12 in their schools as a mandate ever. Through Delta wave, through nothing. They've never done it. They've never masked a caregiver taking care of a baby in daycare in the United Kingdom in the entire pandemic. So our masking policies are far beyond our peer nations. And that is not justified by good evidence. And that's the point of my Atlantic article that, rubbed some people the wrong way.
Well, I've lost 3 viewers over this, VP, for having you on. You know what's funny is kids are smarter than us. I'm just telling you. I mean, they're dummies. Like they do really dumb things, but they're way smarter than adults. Because my 13-year-old comes home, by the way, finally back in school. Because guess what? She's in public school in the Bay Area and they've been shut down forever. But guess what? The private schools have been wide open because
it's always this two-tier system.
It's a two-tier system.
Yeah.
So she comes home after the first week of school and she's like, Dad, I have a question. So they make us mask in the classes. I have no problem with that. Kids, they honestly, they don't care, right? They don't care. They want to see their friends. They don't care if
they'd rather be in school than be at home.
Dude, my kids are so happy. It almost brought tears to my eyes. They're like, oh my God. I dropped my 10-year-old off at her elementary school. Again, public, all public. She runs. I see her run to this gaggle of girls and they're hugging and chest bumping. And I'm like, God, it makes you want to cry.
I got to say this. I mean, I think that what that shows you is that this last year where it was closed, that was one of the greatest policy failures ever.
Of all time.
It didn't need to be closed. And what we did to these kids, it serves no purpose. Anyway, we can talk about
none of it.
Yeah.
So she comes home and she's like, Dad, so I have a question. So they make us mask in class. That's fine. Then for lunch, we take our masks off. We sit like this, like sardines. We're spitting and shouting at each other and sharing food. And the very next period, they send us outdoors at our Olympic-sized track to run a mile with mandatory masks on. And actually, she had to stop and like tripod to catch her breath. So she takes the mask off. Her PE teacher yelled at her for taking her mask off. But they can shout at each other this close at lunch. So she's like, does this make sense? Is it scientifically valid? And I'm like, what do you think?
I think what you're highlighting is a terrible story, but it reveals the naked contradictions in our policy. I mean, the American Academy of Pediatrics policy on masking 2-year-olds is that they wear the mask in daycare, except the 2 hours they take a nap and sleep side by side in a room, often with limited ventilation. So what am I to think? Does the virus take a nap too? What am I to think of these policies? I mean, are people really alleging that everybody in the United Kingdom, they just don't love or care about children, that people in Norway don't care about children? Because these policies are very different in our peer nations and other nations that, surprise, surprise, they care about children too. The reason there are differences is we have never invested scientific capital in studying to learn which of these policies helps. I think it's fair to say, it's very plausibly the case, that masking outdoors didn't help anybody because outdoor transmission of COVID is so fleetingly rare.
Even with Delta.
Yeah. Outdoor transmission is not the place where it's happening. That's one. Two, children have much lower risk of acquiring the virus and lower risk of bad outcomes. There's an elegant study that Alistair Munro tweeted from the United Kingdom that looked at the risk of hospitalization for COVID based on whether or not you're vaccinated and based on your age. And it really shows that kids under the age of 18 who were unvaccinated, or kids under the age of 12 were unvaccinated, their risk of being hospitalized with COVID is less than a 40-year-old who was vaccinated. So why are we imposing such burdens on them if the 40-year-old would happily go to a bar, happily fly across the country, happily go on vacation to Hawaii or wherever? Why are we imposing such great burdens on children? It's irrational. And I guess that was the thesis of my Atlantic article. Some people were able to process it, but other people revealed, I think, an inability to hear things and see things and read things that conflicted with their pre-existing views. And so just like they canceled their subscription to The Atlantic, I suggested that they really need to cancel their subscription to their eyes and ears, because that's what's going to reveal information to them that they might not like.
That may be
Yeah.
So where we going to now? Mm-hmm.
So before we go to the next one, basically what he's saying, where the mask is concerned, and it really is true. I mean, you're forcing children to wear masks in the classroom, and even to do PE and whatever. But then when they're eating, they're taking off their masks and they're liming and they're talking and well, they talk, the other video we'll talk about the vaccine a little more. But basically, and then there are other videos. I think I shared a video with them on Real Talk, one of the previous Real Talks, where they said that that same doctor was saying that the risk of the child, if a child does get COVID, I think in all, how many people in America, how much million? Anybody knows that figure? I think it's is it
something million?
How much million?
I think it's around 300 and something million.
300 and something million. About 300 and something million, yes, about that, right? 400 and something children died of COVID. This is in another video, right? I obviously don't want to share it, right? 450, let's say, kids died of COVID, and of that 450, 3/4 of them had comorbidities, right? So that means that listen, the percentage is so small of their children that actually die or end up with a seriously ill from, you know, COVID-19. And what they're doing in Europe is they're allowing the children to, you know, move around in school without their mask. Yes, some of them getting infected, but they're getting over it. The risk is not so much for the children. The risk is for the children taking the virus home.
The virus home.
You know,
yeah.
because they children would be
But
healthy
whether they're
and strong.
vaccinated or not, that don't matter, right?
Correct. I mean, you could spread it, you know, even correct. But still, I mean, I could understand maybe if you're a parent, you have your let's say, grandparents living with you and your child going to school, whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated, as you rightfully say, they can bring the virus home to their grandparents, you know. So that's another thing you have to look at too, because the vaccinated also getting COVID as well and spreading it, right? We saw in our local newspapers, Nalini, I don't know if you saw it, excuse me, either earlier this week or last week, a mother who lost her son and her husband to COVID, and they were both vaccinated, and she's not vaccinated. I don't know if you saw that article.
Yeah, I saw that article.
Yeah. So they were vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and she was not, and they actually took the vaccine for her sake because they out and working and she home, and they didn't want to bring the virus home to her. So they got vaccinated and they got COVID, and they both still died. So
wow.
It's the science, the head that they're pushing about this vaccinated and unvaccinated, and the vaccinated have to protect themselves from the unvaccinated. It's not scientific. It's not, they're talking about science. It's not making sense because the unvaccinated are still contracting this virus. So, you know, what is actually going on in the world right now, I'm not sure. I just put it like that. Let's go to the next video.
You have anything you want to say before the new video? Like what just like about context, because people, you know.
No, I even trying to remember what this is about. Oh, this is more about the vaccine and how it affects children. This one.
Okay.
This is based in Europe as well.
All right, let's go.
Well, the first thing I'm probably gonna do is have a sleepover, like a huge sleepover with all my friends. Like some parties, like a pool party or something.
10-year-old Maya Huber is one of more than 2,000 American children who've received 2 doses of the BioNTech Pfizer vaccine. Initial findings from a study of 5 to 11-year-olds show that the vaccination is effective and safe. Young children are already getting the jab in other countries too, in Cuba with a homegrown serum, as well as China and Cambodia, where they're getting the Sinovac inoculation. Meanwhile, in Europe, the vaccination of teenagers is making headway. Here too, data from the US were decisive. They show that the benefits of vaccination outweigh the risk of very rare vaccine side effects. Welcome to our COVID-19 special. I'm Monica Jones. Thanks for joining us. Now, COVID-19 is primarily a respiratory infection that attacks our lungs. 2 years into the pandemic, we know that the virus can also harm other organs, including our heart. Getting vaccinated to protect yourself and others should be the obvious answer. But now a study in the US claims that the jab could be worse than the disease, at least for teenagers.
For many teenagers, getting vaccinated against COVID-19 is a cause for celebration. But one US study appears to suggest teenage boys who have the Pfizer vaccine have an increased risk of developing an inflammation of the heart muscle. Symptoms of myocarditis include a stabbing pain or a tightness in the chest, shortness of breath when walking and resting, and flu-like symptoms like a high temperature, tiredness and fatigue. It can also include heart palpitations. The study found that between January and June this year, rates of adverse cardiac events for boys aged 12 to 15 after their second dose of a Pfizer vaccine was just over 162 per million. This is nearly 4 times the number of otherwise healthy unvaccinated teenagers who'd be expected to end up in hospital with COVID-19 over a similar time period. The incidence in the study works out as 16.2 cases of myocarditis per 100,000 people. That's pretty much bang on average for the general population. and the paper has some limitations. The research hasn't yet been reviewed by the scientific community. The number of people in the study at 257 is enough to be interesting, but not enough to be groundbreaking. COVID itself can cause myocarditis too. The study of 240,000 people published in the New England Journal of Medicine found being infected with the coronavirus was associated with 11 cases of the condition per 100,000 people. That same paper found for all age ranges being Pfizer vaccinated was linked to 2.7 cases per 100,000 people. The link between vaccinating teenagers and contracting myocarditis isn't exactly clear. But with more data on the way following the UK's recent move to offer COVID vaccines to 12 to 15-year-olds, it's likely that will change in the coming months.
Now, Dr. Jakob Ahlmann is attending physician and pediatric.
That's it, Carol. So I don't know if you all got that statistic that she said that the risk of contracting the heart inflammation, right? Right, is 4 times greater in boys between 12 and 15 than them contacting COVID.
Unica, yes. 1 second. Is Mark sleeping?
What?
Mark was sleeping.
Mark was sleeping? Mark was sleeping? Kyle, continue yourself, Kyle.
Oh, they're good. Oh, they're good. Go ahead, Unica, yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
I'll go back and watch it after. First thing I'm going to do is just check that.
Oh, my word. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the risk for boys between the age of 12 to 16 of them contracting that disease that causes inflammation around your heart is 4 times more than them contracting COVID and dying. You understand? The risk is much higher of them getting this heart inflammation disease than actually getting COVID. So I see that I see that as a real good reason to not get my child vaccinated. And this is just one study. This is just data from one source, right? Everybody has the internet, YouTube, all these at their fingertips, and they could. Why is Mark trying to look like he's sleeping? I think he's doing it on purpose. You have his eye down, like. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you good.
Right? I think it has enough data, enough information out there that for people to stop saying that it's false information, it's fake. There's too much doctors, parents who have experienced it themselves. Listen, right here in our small Trinidad and Tobago, I spoke to a young man who said he is 18 or 19, and he got vaccinated. He said he and his friend, and he knows his friend got the if I pronounce it for me, I want to pronounce it. I don't want to say heart inflammation. Pronounce it for me.
I think it was myocarditis.
Say again?
I think it was myocarditis.
Myocarditis, right. So he said he has a friend. So this is one person who just happened to be chatting with me, who mentioned that his friend, who is the same age with him, contracted that condition after he took the second dose of Pfizer, right here in Trinidad. And that's just one of many. So, I mean, it's just my opinion. This is my. I want to ask you a question too, right? Just between us on the panel here, right? How many of you all panel, and even those of you watching, right, viewers as well, asking a question? How many of you know someone who either you know someone personally who died of COVID, or know somebody who died of COVID? Somebody close, or somebody who tell you. I mean, I know more than three.
I know a couple of people there who died.
Right, Nalini, you know, you can unmute your mic and talk. And Nalini, it's just that when
I don't know anybody died from COVID personally. I knew somebody who took single farm vaccine and got the virus due to the vaccine. And she
Yes,
almost
but
died because she was asthmatic.
okay, yes, but that does happen. Yeah, Ava and
Wow.
Mark, you all know anybody who died from COVID?
I don't.
A couple of my friends end up dying from COVID. They
Okay,
were
so and I mean, I said,
so
Yeah, we
I
say
think I
that
know,
now, but anyhow, go ahead.
yeah, too many people, right, that died from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the real question I want to ask you all. Have you all ever heard of a child dying of COVID? Anybody? A child? Or even
no,
ending up in hospital on a ventilator? Mark, you would have a child that died of COVID?
Yeah,
no.
I
But
never heard any child.
I believe in
So, I
Trinidad, a
mean,
pregnant woman had died.
a what?
Yeah. I believe a
Yeah,
lady was
she a
pregnant
pregnant woman died.
and the child and ended up passing
Yes,
out.
yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, so I mean, I just asked that question, and even I'm sure the people viewing as well. You're not hearing it's not that big a risk for children, but yet you're hearing a lot of adverse side effects. I spoke to a mother today who was so distressed. She was like to the point of tears because her daughter got the second shot of remember people call me when they have issues, right? That's what people do. They call the pastor when they have issues. So I hear a lot of stories, guys, right? She called me firsthand. Her daughter got his second Pfizer shot. And she said she was so sick, she was close to calling the ambulance. She had to stop herself and say, listen, this is going to pass. This is, and pray through. Because,
Yeah.
once you're going to hospital, there's a scene, right? And she started to feel guilty for making that decision to get her child vaccinated. And, she was, to be honest, she would say that, okay, she know that possibly her child would not get COVID ever. Or if she did get COVID, she would have gotten over it, right? Nothing. But she was so sick with this vaccine, so she was like, wasn't even worth it. And she only really did it for her to go to school. So that's the sad thing. And now she didn't really basically, she didn't need it. So, you
Wow.
know what I mean? So, yeah, what's going on, in my opinion, is real crazy. Real crazy.
Yeah, it's madness happening. I mean, encourage everybody, especially you want to be ignorant for yourself, be ignorant for yourself, whatever, right? But when it comes to your children, I encourage everybody to really do some research and really look into what these things happening. And because there's one thing that's good with all of this happening is a pandemic. So is the whole world having information on this. So it's not like you could just look to one place away and again that kind of information. They all have many parts of Europe, many studies all over that they do their research and they showing the evidence of certain things that happen. So you guys could look into whatever research you want to do, like a simple thing like that the two little videos we pull up and you all saw that these doctors, different people explaining, they have different, they have reason, they're questioning certain things happening within this whole situation happening. Now, obviously, we understand that it's a pandemic and people might have all the answers, right? Because everybody just trying to go back to a norm. But it seems like there's much more happening where it comes to the norm. They're trying to force people into maybe a kind of agenda almost like it's not necessary they want people to go back to normal life. It seems like they're trying to establish a new agenda in the world, a new form of system. Because like some people, I think somebody said it earlier in the conversation that COVID is here to stay in the context is COVID is a virus and might keep mutating for some time. And so it means that they in the system of the world, COVID is like maybe the new common cold that most people might, experience or some kind of thing like that, right? My point is this, right? That within, because there's a whole, maybe a fear in the whole world and different things happening, you must really do your research, but also you must be
Yeah.
able to stop and realize that there's much more happening and you must be able to not go down with just I just watching just today that there are people protesting because they're trying to force people with passes. There's France and different people. There's a new different type of pass they come out with now, not just for the restaurants and different things, right? They just a pass to travel and whatever. And they came out again today and they was protesting and they said they're not doing that. Even the vaccinated people to it. They're protesting because they're saying this is against normal human rights. Basically
Yes.
make a choice to do whatever you want. You basically tell you if you do this, we in trouble. We in situation and it is madness happening. You all could see Australia and different things going on all over the world. So I encourage you all not to live in a bubble and be aware and make certain decisions because we are believers here. Just to inform you guys, whether I'm not here to dispute whether vaccine good or not, but I can tell you this: time is coming to a close, and we could see the world is preparing for something much more than where we're heading. Right? So I encourage you guys to be alert, to talk to the Lord. If you don't know Jesus, there's a beautiful time to get to know Him and you are
Amen.
and our I'll tell you this, right? Anybody who maybe don't really know Jesus, you kind of have a religious thing. The Bible says something that is interesting. The God of this world blinding the mind of the people of this world. Now, when the Bible says that, he means that the God of this world, meaning Satan, he uses the world to blind people. So it's strange that you'd see people having this aggression who vaccinated or for the vaccine and kind of, and they have this aggression against people who maybe against certain, and they don't realize we just questioning certain, like somebody who genuinely, like Nilini, maybe just genuinely questioning when my son certain thing. It's almost like there's this aggression happening with for people with this vaccine and different things like that. And I encourage everybody not to get into the hype. See that there are real people, see that there are real people who have decisions that they want to make, that they are families, and we could understand that you might have a different opinion because obviously there's the other side of the story. If it is maybe you did lose a loved one, you would have hoped that maybe they did take the vaccine or something like that. And you might be saying, I want everybody to take the vaccine. And so we could understand that there are both sides of the story, that there's real things happening. But I encourage you guys to be open and really seek a time. There's a time to really seek the presence of the Lord and to get to know Jesus because you will indeed find him in this time, right? So I don't know if anything else you want to say, Unika. I want to go to Ava.
Um, yeah, I saw a gentleman, I think it's Kenyon, right? I saw
Mm-hmm.
Kenyon say earlier, and I watched a whole video about that from another doctor. It's like really interesting. It was like, my attention span a little short, but I watched the whole thing, not right through, but it's like an hour and a half, right? Because it was so interesting, right? He is a doctor for years, and he actually had experience on the with the
Mm-hmm.
FDA and different parts of the government and that kind of thing as a doctor. And he was saying that he could not believe and still cannot believe how the doctors worldwide, he says he thinks it's a global agenda, how they're not looking, they're pushing the vaccine and wearing masks and washing your hands and all those things as the only solution to combat COVID. And he's like, how come none of them looking for treatments or for preventative things to prevent it or things to, how come they're not pushing to the general public things like zinc and vitamin D? And well, we know
Yeah.
the ivermectin, the other ones, they're against that, right? They're calling it all kind of horse medicine and whatever, right? Wish I could hear that joke, boy. Okay, I wish I could hear that joke. Wow, I miss out.
You
I like
good.
jokes. Okay,
You
yeah,
good.
right. And so what he was saying, so what I want to say to those of you listening is that it's a horrible virus. It's killing people. There's no doubt about that. There are people saying COVID fake. I don't know what planet they're living on and how they could say that people are dying from it. But just like any other cold or flu and stuff, there are things that you can actually do to protect yourself. If you take vitamins, D, zinc, vitamin C, they don't want to tell you take ivermectin. I can't tell you take it either. I'm not a doctor, but basically I'm saying to do your research, guys. There, you can build up your immune system. You don't have to wait to get COVID and then go take a vaccine, or take a vaccine or end up in the hospital, right? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
thanks for changing the view so that I could concentrate on what I'm saying and not see you all laughing, right? Thank you for doing that. Yeah, so guys, don't wait for whatever the government, whatever the science, whatever the world say going to happen to you. You take things into your own hands, build up your immune system, take care of yourself. Do research, guys. Do research. You don't only have to listen to what the WHO say. You don't, and what's the name, Fauci and them. You don't. You can do your own research. There are other people that have been trying other things and they've been beating this thing, COVID, right? So yeah, that's my final words.
All right, let's go back to Mark and Ava. I know they right now them cracking up. And Ava, if I give her a chance, she will cry laughing right now, right? You guys, just to add on one thing and say, just to let everybody know that that's that's for people input, right? Obviously, we are all of us here are believers in Christ. And I know we talk about the vaccine, and especially with children, there's really a topic today. So it's not necessarily to talk about the vaccine itself in that kind of way, but I just want to let everybody know we do not believe the mark of the beast is a chip they put it in your hand. We do not believe in all these. We don't. Sorry, we don't believe the vaccine. Sorry, is the yeah, the vaccine is a chip they put it in your hand, and we don't believe in them kind of theory and nonsense. We deal with the natural things, the scientific fact behind it, that how it's affecting people with the heart, and we're not here telling people that don't take the vaccine because it's a chip they put in your hand. Because I know there are a lot of weird Christians coming up with these theologies. I want to tell you all of them wrong. That is not the case. We do not also believe it's the mark of the beast. We believe the mark of the beast. Everybody will know that that is the case, and it will be on to it will be on to the false prophet. It will be on to the false prophet. So it's not something gonna be mistake. Could this be leading to the mark of the beast? Well, I personally believe that. Everybody here can have their own opinion with that. I personally believe that this is setting men's heart and they are towards a direction. That's why I personally believe that we are going somewhere with this. This isn't just the end all here, right? This is just maybe phase one, and we'll see what will not happen later on in life. So I encourage everybody to. Jesus said it's simple, right? He said to all to watch and pray. They'll watch and see what's going on, and they'll sit down like fools and just be like, hey, well, yeah, I gotta take it. No. Bible sit to watch and pray and talk to the Lord and see what is going on. So, like Lily, I would say, Nilini, watch and pray. Talk to the Lord. Hey, my son, and allow the Lord to instruct you, and don't let no government and them tell you that there's a time where you had to really go to the king and really let the kingdom of heaven be your government and say, there's my son. The Lord, hey, Lord, you tell, not the vaccination, cool. And you go out. You catch where I'm coming from, right? You allow the Lord to lead your life in that kind of way. So we want to go to Mark and Eva. I want to thank everybody. Nalini, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing, because there are a lot of people who are so grateful for hearing the other side of the story, that they, with special kids and different things, that they could clearly see there's this situation. They didn't really think it properly in the government, and they need to really. So I encourage you, Nalini, to really, like I say, reach out to the schools, and I encourage you, all the parents who maybe does have a special kid, to really to rise up and have a voice to do it. It's not something hard or complicated. Talk to. But anyhow, Mark and Eva.
Alright.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the comments. I'm not sure if we're gonna get tired back right now, so I'll start with the comments, alright, guys? So we have Anya. She says, yes, I saw the article. It really was heartbreaking for her family. I think this is a told a story about a family where the son and the father, I think, passed.
Yeah.
Sabrina says that this weekend in the news, there was a husband and wife that died from COVID as well as 4 children. Wow, I did not hear about that. Let me see, Anya. Oh, wow. She says, than the unvaccinated children. Yes, well, from that video, we some of you saw that is true. Demi says, I will tell my story. So we have Demi, transparent here. She says, Onika knows I am vaccinated. I did it only because I got a new job and they sort of urged us to. I figured, okay, there is I take one that they say have the least side effects. Most of my siblings took this particular one and I took that same one. It needs a trip to the doctor with an underlying problem I am doing several tests for. It's almost 2 months and I have not stopped bleeding. I was put on medication and I got about a 4-day break, but then it returned. I can't get the rest of that. Oh man. Unfortunately, I can't get the rest of Natasha says this was excellent information. Wesleyan says the same. Susan and they all said it was very informative. The videos are very informative. It says I know a couple of people who died from COVID. Susan says someone close to me died from COVID. Joel Jane, may I advise a valid source of info that's unedited is an encyclopedia or dictionary. That's why I have to COVID-19 vaccines specifically are not vaccines. I have to rule out when people say that Google or websites have false info. So get through this. Kenyan will. I know 3 persons who died from something else but was classified as COVID-19 deaths. Wow. Wesley and my uncle-in-law, his wife and daughter. Oh boy.
My condolences. Wow.
Yeah, this is crazy. Demi says thank you. It's not an easy road. Wesley, my big daughter grandfather took the job and got COVID-19. He has to live on oxygen, wear pampers, can't even feed himself or sit up. What's the sense for this job? Nalini responded, and well, I guess we could also same. She said, so sorry, I pray God helps him. Susan thinks so true research and gather information. Tamika Springer, most likely it's continued homeschool next year. Please God for my kids. Ayuka, too much side effects, and this is scaring the general population. Anyway, that you guys can discuss this because the popular hospital radio stations are afraid to talk about it. It even seems as if they are politically aligned, just saying. Um, we have a few people telling Tyra well said. Nalini says two FDA top doctors resigned because they were being forced to approve the vaccine. Let me see. Anya says, yes, it is very enlightening hearing from a parent of a special style. Kenyan will, I also agree that is not the mark of the beast, but it's preparing the way for something greater. Tracy Medina, being vaccinated or not, I think is a personal choice. A person has to seek guidance from the Holy Spirit. Philip says, I ministered to someone with COVID, and I was
COVID.
Nalini says, malaria have a tablet as well to prevent. So COVID have a tablet as well. Susan saying, thank you guys for this topic. The information was well put for us and the advice. I appreciate this. Thank you. I think that's for the comments tonight. Guys, thanks so much for all of your comments. We had a lot of comments from you all tonight, and I'm really happy to always see your comments in
Sorry.
Yes,
sorry to press you, darling. Can I read Tracy's comment? Because I get real tired hearing people talk about this vaccinated being unprotected from the where it's supposed to be the opposite way. The unvaccinated need protection from the vaccinated. Because Tracy Medina said her entire household got COVID, down to her 5-year-old grandson. She said within 3 days he was better. The adults took longer to recover. Thank God we were healed and not hospitalized. Note well, the fully vaccinated brought the vaccine to the home. So all of them get sick from the fully vaccinated, the only fully vaccinated house member in the household.
They brought on the virus.
Yes, the fully vaccinated person.
I believe that both the vaccinated and unvaccinated could come in contact with the virus and bring it home, unfortunately.
Yeah, and now see, I was trying to figure out how I missed that comment because I really didn't see it earlier on. Thanks, Vinny. Is there anything else you all wanted to add or highlight? Let me see. I think I just had another comment. My grandson, they can ADHD, the doctors. It's okay for him to take the vaccine, but we are all skeptical because of the medication he's taking and the side effects. Yeah, so clearly, guys, really be guided by the Holy Spirit. It's not even we ourselves as human beings, we may not in our own strength. It's not safe to say we can make the best choice, especially when it comes to having children and stuff like that. I'm grateful that I don't have any children right now.
Yeah.
I said right now, able with my thought to have to experience this, but it be the homeschooling, being posted everything on you. So my hand goes out to all of you, and I think we should pray and really pray for everyone that's experiencing these things because it is a difficult thing. It's a trying time, but guys, be encouraged. Really be led by the Holy Spirit, because that's really important at this point. Even as we can see, as time has gone on with COVID, science is not it is playing. It's players out here. All right. So guys, I want to say thank you again for all of your comments. Did I do my final giveaway? No. Anyway, I'll do that at the very end. Thanks, guys, so much for your comments. This was really awesome being able to engage with you here and hearing your opinions, questions, whatever the case was. It was really awesome. Big up to Lisa in Denmark.
Yeah.
Onika was not being serious, Lisa. If you didn't realize, she's not from Denmark or in Denmark. She just probably wishes that she was at this point in time. But guys, thanks so much for coming. So lovely to have all of you here. We are here every other Saturday, and you can always view our show. All of the shows are saved on our page. So if you feel like you enjoyed what you see, or maybe it would help someone, feel free to share it. Feel free to share our page, and remember to like. For those of you on YouTube, subscribe. Click on notifications as well, just so that every time we go live, you will always be here with us, all right? Because we love having you all. That's the point of this forum, for us to be able to engage with you, all right? And finally, I'm not going to go on any longer. I'm going to do my final giveaway. And we will say congratulations to Kenny and Will. You are the winner of our final giveaway tonight. Kenyon had a lot of points tonight, and we're grateful for your comments, Kenyon, and for every other person that want to give away. Anya, thanks for sharing. Susan, thanks for your comments as well. Anya, also thanks for your comments. It's really awesome having you all, and anybody else viewing also how easy it was, right? Well, you have to win, and we get to talk to you all as well, right? Which we love. So, Mark, is there anything you want to throw in there?
Kenyan, you're well informed and amazing. And for those of you who would have seen me and Eva laughing, we apologize for our behavior. We're just so excited about the show and everything. Thank you for being with us.
Guys, have an awesome rest of your Saturday, what is left of it, and the rest of your weekend as well. All right, we look forward to seeing all of you in our next show. Make sure and stay tuned to see what the next topic is. And guys, remember, you could inbox us if there's something that we never really talked about on the show. You really want to talk about it. Feel free to inbox us, right? We're always open to those ideas as well. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you at the next show. Bye.
Good night.